Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Love One Life. I'm very excited today. We're joined by Marty Hofmann, who has got a huge story to share with you about complacency and all of the things he's learnt in it.
And it's like boiling that frog, right? We've all heard that analogy where you put the frog in the pot and you turn the temperature little by little, and little by little he gets boiled and he doesn't notice because it's just a little at a time. Well, that's what complacency is. It isn't laziness. It isn't not doing something. It's getting used to a situation and that situation getting worse for us. I heard recently that the average person scrolls 81 miles a year with their finger.
A year.
In 1 year.
That's bad, isn't it?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I think a lot of, especially entrepreneurs, we fall into of thinking this is what my family wants, but really our family just wants us home. But we think they want money or possessions. And so we go after those things.
So true. Such a good point, Marty, when you look at what especially younger children need. And the thing they don't need is material wealth, because material wealth is meaningless to children. And it's only sets in as we become adults. It's like when you have a 3-year-old and you get them a toy and instead of playing with the toy, they've climbed in the box that it came in and they're pretending it's a boat or a car.
The enemy of the intentional life is comfort. And so not that we have to be uncomfortable, but we need to realize that we grow when we do hard things and when we say no to things.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Love One Life, where we talk about how to live the life you lead today and not one day in the future, how to enjoy life. I'm very excited today. We're joined by Marty Hofmann, who has got a huge story to share with you about complacency and all of the things he's learnt in it. Today's episode is called, Are You Drifting Through Life Without Realizing It? Which, let's face it, we've all done it if you're not doing it right now. And we all know there's huge amounts of you out there that are probably feeling like, wow, I am drifting through life. I'm Fred. This is Drea. We've got Marty on. Marty, welcome to Love One Life. Do you want to set the scene and tell us a bit about yourself before we dive into the episode?
Absolutely. And thank you guys for having me. This is a great privilege and honor. So thank you.
Thank you.
I grew up on a farm in Iowa, just a regular farm kid, and did regular things. And I got the entrepreneur bug early on and just didn't really necessarily want to. I mean, I worked for people, was a youth pastor for a bit, did HVAC work, but then I really leaned into being my own boss and started running businesses. And I got into real estate. And as I got into real estate, I just started to realize that if Marty Hofmann from Battle Creek, Iowa can do this, then anybody can do this. And so I sat down with my daughter, Keziah, and with a whiteboard, and we started charting what it would look like to empower the world to stop drifting through life and be more intentional and live a fuller life. And so, we came up with the branding of Kill Complacency and started a podcast. And that's what we're all about now, is trying to inspire the world like you guys to take advantage of that one life and live it well.
I love that. And I also love a whiteboard session, Marty. I love a whiteboard session. I think it's really inspiring as well that you did that with your oldest daughter. I mean, is she same mindset as you then? She's
very visionary, yes. So if anything, that would be the negative to her, having her on my team, is we are so aligned when it comes to vision. Like, we just want to go do it. And so she's super fun to bounce ideas off of. And we talked about it, and she's my backbone. She's the one that makes me look good and just is an excellent, lovely person.
That's wicked.
And so what does complacency mean? When you talk about complacency, can you give the listeners a bit of an insight into what the word complacency means when we talk about it?
Yeah, a lot of times, we think it's laziness. That's the word that comes to our mind. But with the title of your show, it's exactly what you said, is drift. And it's like boiling that frog, right? We've all heard that analogy where you put the frog in the pot and you turn the temperature little by little, and little by little he gets boiled and he doesn't notice because it's just a little at a time. Well, that's what complacency is. It isn't laziness. It isn't not doing something. It's getting used to a situation and that situation getting worse for us. The acronym we use for the word drift is default, results, and forgotten time. And when you fall into drifting, time just goes by. You're in the rat race and time just goes by and you don't even realize that nothing's changed in a year. You're the same Fred, you're the same Marty, you're the same Drea. We're just drifting. So we're all about being intentional and killing complacency so that we can live that full life.
Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? You hit the nail on the head there. It's about not being intentional, I suppose, is complacency, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I would say it feels like it's not being intentional, but it's also accepting. What Marty is talking about there is accepting a situation that you probably don't really fundamentally like. And I know I can relate to this, and we'll go into a bit more the things we've all done. But you're just accepting a situation. Maybe it's your job, maybe it's your life, maybe it's your partner, maybe it's the way people treat you. I guess it could be, and I'm sure Marty's going to tell us more, but it could be so many things, right, Marty, what complacency is?
Yes, it's everything. And I wish I could tell you that once you kill it, you're good. But you know, those sweets on the counter, you can say no to them right now and walk by in an hour and they're going to be saying, eat me again. And so it is a continuous thing. We have to learn to be intentional. You know, if you're on that diet, you can't give in later just because you were good for a little bit. So it's continuous, but it is that it's just that little bit, you know, you think I'll just eat one cookie. It'll be okay. But then it goes into more.
In this house, there's no such thing as one cookie getting eaten ever by anybody. We'll be intentionally devouring it all.
It's interesting. So already I'm recognizing in myself, Marty, I'm thinking there's things I'm very intentional about, but there's maybe other things like having an extra whiskey once in a while. And I've been saying I should not have, I don't drink. I'm not saying I drink a lot, but, you know, thinking I don't need any whiskey. I'll go a few weeks without having a whiskey. And then I might last about 4 or 5 days. And then I'll go back to having a couple of whiskeys, you know, and then it's that kind of, yes, I go past it a few days, but then eventually I go, I'll just have a treat tonight. And I'm trying to live without it, but I don't.
And then we have it framed in our mind as a treat, when in fact it doesn't actually make you feel that great afterwards anyway, does it? It's like you're treating yourself in that very moment.
In that moment.
And that's it.
But not the next.
Yeah.
Because I got to an age a couple of years, 2 or 3 years ago, and alcohol just ruined my sleep. And now, like most Brits, I would say, are probably regular drinkers and I was probably having, you know, probably whiskey quite a few nights a week, 1 or 2 whiskeys at least. And but all of a sudden my body changed and, you know, blood pressure was a bit high, and so I have to, that's why I don't drink very much. And if I'm trying to keep away from it, it's because my sleep generally gets worse. As soon as I touch more than just a really sip of alcohol, it affects my sleep now, which is, I suppose, is not the worst deal in the world, because it's my body perhaps saying, stay off it.
Yeah, stay away. But it's like the complacency piece is like that, and health wise as well, isn't it? What's been your experience with complacency in your life?
Well, I will tell you a story. I mean, I used to love to put the kids to bed. It was an idol. My wife and I it'd be 8 o'clock. We'd say it's time for bed. And to her, that meant it's time to clean the house. For me, it meant get the kids to bed so I can get out the ice cream. And I mean, my complacency is I would just eat it out of the carton, you know, and not measure it. But I idolize kids' bedtime because then I could have all the ice cream to myself. But very, you know, very much complacent and very much giving, not wanting to make the discipline of health a priority in my life, and loving the sweets on the tongue because they taste good. So, I just think it's a great, like, that's a real story. Like, I don't know, I added it up one time. I can't remember. It was like 500 gallons of ice cream I'd eaten in a decade or something, because that was my regular routine. But it was just a little bit, you know, you justify it. And I mean, we could do the same with alcohol or cigarettes or donuts, you know, so.
Chocolate bars.
I love donuts.
Yeah. We all have our little things, but what happens is we get in the habit of it. And before we know it, you know, I've got some chub probably on my waist since 2010, because that was when I loved my ice cream. And, you know, that fat doesn't just go away. It stays there. So
So do you
gotta get rid
still
of it.
enjoy the ice cream? What's the story nowadays?
Oh, I love ice cream, but I don't have it. I don't have it very much. Just because I know I don't need it, and I've changed my identity a little bit as far as making better choices.
To go into a bit more about the journey with this complacency, because I feel we sort of joke about it like the ice cream, and it's not a joke because it affects your health, or the alcohol affects your health. So it's not
Sure.
a joke, but it's easy to laugh about. But well, let's just sort of journey into a little bit. And you see this in people's life, and you're there guiding people on what you see as complacency and how to get out of it. Give us some other examples that you see really regularly coming across in your world on complacency and what it means.
I think one of the easiest ones that we justify is screen time.
Ugh.
And I think that like it's something we don't measure. But I mean, your theme is love one life. And with that comes a legacy. And I'm telling you, I struggle with this, but I don't want to not have a legacy with my kids because I'm scrolling on my phone when they're trying to tell me about my day. And so I think that's something that it's something we all maybe struggle with. If we love our work, we're checking emails. If we want to influence people, we're checking what people said. If we're just dumping our day, I mean, there's all kinds of things. Maybe we're just scrolling, right? But there's all kinds of ways that we can become complacent with our screen time, and that's what those makers are after, is our attention. But we miss out on this is the key. We miss out on life today with our loved ones because we're too busy consuming social media or an email that doesn't need answered right now or whatever. So I think that's one that we all can get.
Oh, yeah, it's a big subject. It's a big subject in our home. It's a big subject that I particularly feel very passionately about it, to the point where it can wind me up. But you know, when you look around and you see people with families, and then the kids are on the tablets and the parents are on the tablets, and nobody's socializing and nobody's connecting, and they're not having those moments that are so imperative to functioning and growing and learning and enjoying anything. And so, yeah, I have definitely, we've been on holiday, and it's made me not enjoy parts of my holiday, witnessing that around me, but without trying to cast judgment, Marty, because I honestly do feel like it has become either socially acceptable, it has become designed in order to do that. And I feel like it's a shame for people. It's a shame that this is the world that we live in right now. And in the UK, actually, just recently, just this week, the government has put a ban into place for under 16-year-olds.
I don't know if they've put it into place yet.
Well, as in it's coming.
Yeah.
They've announced it. It's coming, I think it's the spring next year that they're putting it in for under 16-year-olds. And I think that's a wonderful thing for social platforms.
Okay. So here I think I just read a book called The Anxious Generation, and it's all about screen time with the generation that was raised. But here I think it's 13. But the problem is there's no way to enforce it. So, but Fred, you're a creative person, and I think that's my thing. Like if we can, at a minimum, just like in our home, something we do is Sunday, anyone that has a screen. So my kids get a cell phone at 16. Anyone that has a screen, we share our screen time on Sunday morning. And at a minimum, if you can just be aware of how much you consumed, it helps. So
wow. That's a good idea. I'm not sure our family would love it.
Well, I think it's great. I mean,
I always win.
yeah, I did.
Are you competitive then, Marty?
Yeah. Well, I always win at having the most time. It's not a good thing.
Oh,
the other way around. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's mega powerful, isn't it? There's a phrase I use in business a lot, which is everything inspected is respected.
Yes.
So people respect what you inspect is the other way around of saying that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really powerful thing to make everybody aware of it. And being a creative family that we are, it's very much always trying to make sure there's an outlet that says, okay, let's not be doing that. Let's create art. Let's create music. Let's go and do something creative. Let's spend time together. Let's do it, so that we're always pushing that way. So I'd say we're not atypical to the current standard
Sure.
families, but equally we still have phones and we still have the screens, and we're always pushing to minimize it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you don't sit there some days and looking at yourself here and,
Yeah.
and say,
Yes,
oh, you
for
know,
sure.
I got lost. I got lost just scrolling on some crap today, or like you say, dealing with things that just didn't need dealing with.
Mhm.
And you realize just we're always pushing, isn't it? There's more time in the day than everyone thinks they got. And then you add in
Yeah.
Netflix and TV and all the other stuff on top of that. That's always got the next thing coming out. Have you seen this? Have you seen that? And then it's all geared around a screen, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's
So what do you advise people?
and I
What do you teach people?
just look at it, pay attention. And I don't. There's no in our family. There's no judgment. Like I said, I average about 4 hours a day, a little less. And there's no judgment on that. Like we just know, but it's in front of all of us how much we had. And because of that, we do try to do better. And so that's the first thing I tell people is just look at your screen time. Pick a day of the week, pull it up and look at it. Just so you know, like if I were to put all the milk, all the ice cream cartons on a counter that I ate in a week or in a month or in a year, like just measuring that would make me more aware and would allow me to make better decisions. But if I don't ever measure it, to your point, everything inspected is respected. To your point, we don't know and we can't course correct. And now we can't love our one life because we just drifted through it scrolling on a screen.
It doesn't make you feel any better afterwards, does it?
No. I heard, this is what I was going to say. I heard recently that the average person scrolls 81 miles a year with their finger.
A year.
In
Oh,
1
man,
year.
that's bad, isn't it?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
That poor screen.
That
Poor finger.
it's the only thing that's getting any exercise.
It comes with RSI and everything else, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you've got complacency. Why do people stay in it? You know, when you look at so the screen time is an excellent example. Maybe it's the way they're eating, like we've talked about. Maybe it's the job or the lifestyle they've got. Why do people stay in it and don't? Sometimes people are on the outside, aren't they? And they're saying like, change it, but they don't. They stay.
Yeah, we stay, Fred, because it's easy and because it's comfort, and that's what our flesh wants. But to love our life well and to live with intention, like there has to be some discomfort in there. There has to be some saying no to things. But that's not what our world, our culture is geared toward at all. It's telling us, you know, be comfortable, live the life of ease, and never exercise, and don't eat your salad, and you know, all the things.
I really get those messages too.
Yeah, but it's the enemy of the intentional life is comfort, and so not that we have to be uncomfortable, but we need to realize that we grow when we do hard things and when we say no to things. If we say yes to everything, I mean, you know, as a business owner, your best decisions are a lot of times no, and it's when you say no to the opportunities because it creates other opportunities, or it doesn't take bandwidth from your team. So in life too, we have to say no to things.
What's been the most uncomfortable decision you've had to make for your life?
Ooh. That's hard because I have some adult kids now, and there's some hard decisions there. I would say probably if I went back 5 years ago, my life looks a lot different because I started to realize all this. The compound effect of living for myself was starting to add up, and so I had to make changes. I had to make changes with everything. My family. I talk about this in my book, but I was the guy that was thinking I could go work all the time and provide, and that would take care of me being present at home. And so there was a course correction there that I think a lot of, especially entrepreneurs, we fall into, of thinking this is what my family wants, but really our family just wants us home. But we think they want money or possessions. And so we go after those things.
So true. Such a good point, Marty, when you look at what especially younger children need, and the thing they don't need is material wealth, because material wealth is meaningless to children, and it's only sets in as we become adults, and then, you know, you can train them into material wealth, which is not great for them, but they just don't need it, do they? it's like when you have a 3-year-old and you get them a toy and instead of playing with a toy, they've climbed in the box that it came in and they're
Yeah.
pretending it's a boat or a car. It's that innocence of youth, isn't it, that tells you it's not about how much money you put on the table. That's your own personal ego versus the comparative and relativity to other people around you, which is very hard to deal with on a personal level for a lot of people.
Yeah. You know, that 3-year-old just wants you to lay on the ground and they want to climb on you. And they just, you know, to a 3-year-old, you spell, well, to any kid, I think, you spell love with time. It's just time.
Yeah.
And
That's a great way of saying it.
teenagers, you know, they want to talk at night and it's time. They just want your time.
Yeah. It's ironically when we're talking about socials and stuff, there is some good stuff on there. And I seen this social recently, this post, and it was 4 kids on a sofa watching a huge screen TV. And it wasn't bad TV. And they had big windows to the outside and then a garden and then a huge trampoline. And they counted down, like there was a countdown to see how long it took each of them to go out and jump with Daddy, because Daddy had got on the trampoline.
Oh.
So he was there with the ball, and 40 seconds for the first one, a minute for the next one, and then like the other 2 followed straight away. So it was under 2 minutes because he had led by example. He was out there. They went and joined him, and they left the TV running, and that was more important for them,
Yeah.
which I thought was wonderful. It's a great example to lead by.
Just a beautiful illustration of our role as dads to just play with our kids. Like, there's going to be no regret there for that dad that jumped on that trampoline.
Now, I was fortunate. I got to be that dad, and through our kids growing up, and I can remember all the times when, like you talk about lying on the floor, I'd come in often from work and I'd be tired, but I figured out quite early on that I just lay on the floor, and of course you've got, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4-year-olds climbing on you, and to them this is now great fun. And for me, this was, you know, I could easily achieve this. It wasn't very difficult, and they were having a great time. And then we'd play, and I never had any issues playing with the toys and setting up all the games, whichever it was, you know. So it was a great journey. And when you talk about people, then it's the example. And I was reading this very recently, actually. It reminded me is, if you don't know how to guide other people and how to live their lives, be an example.
Yeah.
Live and breathe the example to others. And that's like you talking about the dad going outside and what have you. And then you go into being that example for your children. I often see people getting cross with, say, their kids about screen time. Let's say you've been on that computer game all day for maybe a teenage boy, off that computer game, but they're not giving them an alternative. So eventually they turn off the computer game, the TV's now switched off, the console's off. What do now? They sit there pining to turn it back on because they've got nothing else being shown to them.
Yes.
And
it
changes.
Yeah, it does change, and it changes as they get older, what they need or what they want. But it can be, and I think that, I mean, in regards to your guys' theme, like if we are going to live our life well and love it, like we need to do those real things with real people and interact and laugh and touch and, you know, play. Those are the things that are going to lead to the life that we really love, not the phone addiction. And I know that, like, I bring that up because we everybody who's listening to this, I think, myself included, has that struggle, but we can all do better. So
yeah.
What do you say to people when maybe part of their family has a real screen issue, but maybe themselves don't, and they're struggling with that in their family? You know, maybe it's between 2 partners, it could be between a parent and a child, but there are situations where certainly one person is much more aware of the issue than the person that's really deep in screen time. What do you recommend to people when you come across that?
yeah, it's really hard, but it's what you said a little bit ago. It's lead by example. So I can't expect that from my spouse if I'm not doing it as well, or my kids. We recently watched some kids, and their kids had really big screen. They were used to tablets, used just a lot of screen time. And it was a lot of work for my wife, bless her heart, to not want to do that because these kids are begging, like, could we just go on our tablet? And these are little kids, but they had such an addiction, you know, their brain was calling for it. But Ginger, that's my wife's name, Ginger was getting paints out and crayons out and they were going out and finding leaves and pine cones and making art. And she was trying to engage their brain, their creative brain, and do other things. But she could do all this because my point is she was leading by example. She wasn't on her phone. It wasn't a distraction for her. And so I think if we're in a situation where one person wants it and one person doesn't, we still have to lead by example. So we can pick up the book at night and read a real book instead of watching a clip on the phone.
Yeah, I think that's so important. I know that even in our home, I would say that probably Fred spends less time on his phone than I end up spending on mine. And I'm aware of it. And so if he's left his phone somewhere else in the house, I recognize that. Or if he's reading a book or whatever, I recognize that. And so therefore, I think it is a good example to me sometimes to be like, you don't need to be looking at that. I might give myself excuses as to why I need to do that sometimes.
Guilty.
We all do that. Guilty. But this is really important. What I'm going to do. But it's never that. And then the whole example of maybe even the kids coming in, I'm highly aware if I'm having a go and being so, I don't know, encouraging about them not being on their phones, then honestly, I hate it when they walk in and they see me on mine. I hate it. Even if I'm working, I hate it. I'm like, oh no, I feel like this is not a good example to you. I promise I'm working. I'm like, that, you know.
Yes. I mean, it's important to have these conversations. It's important to set the examples, to be intentional so that we don't get to the end of our life and have regrets and think about how much time we scrolled 81 miles a year instead of engaging in those relationships of potentially those kids that are going to take care of us someday. So
We hope.
my wife is much better at than me. And I can see it now in my adult kids because she has that better relationship. And
Right.
when they have problems, that's who they go to. And I'm envious of that. But I know that it's because I was complacent for many years on that. So it's something I'm doing better on, but I wish I was more like Fred as well.
I'm not perfect. Sorry, I'm not. I have I have my own battles with it, and I do consciously put my phone down because I feel it in my hand, because I want to stop looking at it. Go away, leave me alone. Stop calling me in, for pointless information that makes no difference to this real world around me. Most of the media we consume, we are not affected by day to day, other than maybe slight price adjustments in the things we buy a little bit. But other than that, most of it is other people's dramas that we are being sort of pushed to live in what have you.
I think that the time that Fred gets the most caught up with it is usually when he's feeling uneasy about something. If he's had like a bad day or he's had a bad situation or there's been a bit of an issue, that will be the time where it's almost going into distraction mode. It's like, take me out of this world. I'm just going to lose myself in this one.
Yes.
And so often if he is on that phone, I know that actually he's probably not feeling great. And so that's a really good time to be like, hey, are you all right? Shall we have a chat? That type of thing.
Yeah. And you can lose yourself to it, can't you? So you talked earlier about the compound effect of doing the less healthy things in your life. And one of the things that I'm interested in, one of my words for this year is momentum. Momentum being doing the things intentionally that I want to build more and more momentum in the direction that I want. And so whilst you've changed or you've been changing and you're doing more things, what's the compound effect that you felt by not being as complacent, by being more intentional? Because, you go from compounding negatively to compounding positively. What's been the big effect that you notice?
The easiest thing to measure on this is exercise, working out. And specifically what I got into 4 or 5 years ago was running. And prior to this, I would have said I'm not a runner, but I knew I needed to do something. And so I signed up for a marathon, and I knew it would hold me accountable because you can't skip workouts on that. And I did that. And what happened from that is I found out I was actually a decent runner, and I went on to run many marathons and actually like ultra marathons, longer distances. And so that's what I would say as a super easy illustration of compound effect. Like I went from my identity was a non-runner. I would tell people I hate running, but I went from that to honestly setting some course records on some really long distances. So it was just a matter of getting out there and doing what we know we need to do and being intentional, showing up for that workout, reverse engineering. Like I would argue you can do and you can be anything you want if you set the goal, reverse engineer it, and then show up every day. And that compound effect can multiply into greatness.
A great answer and a great story, and
That's
fantastic to hear about the marathons, which I feel is a bit beyond me at this point. So I'm going to have to question myself in terms of what I do. I do like exercise and biking, mountain biking and other things, but yeah, I've never pushed myself to that. So that's fantastic.
I am you 5 years ago, Marty. I'm not a runner. I do not think I could do that. I think my poor knees wouldn't be able to take it, and how would I even manage it? But I am always in awe of people like yourself who do that, and then they become almost it's an enjoyment. It becomes not a chore. It doesn't become something that you think you should do. It's become something you enjoy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would really like to encourage you to try, but just start with walking. Like it doesn't have to be fast. Like for me, there was a whole new world there I didn't know about. And one of my favorite days of the week now is Saturday mornings when a group of us men get together and we run together. And we just have the best time talking. And we're not fast necessarily. We're just out there shoulder to shoulder, pounding pavement. But it was because I tried and I did it. And so I want to encourage you, like, just maybe try it. Sign up for a 5K and see what happens. Don't try to set a course record. Just enjoy it. Your knees will get stronger.
It really brings back to this whole being in the moment and enjoying life today and not one day, which is the whole point of why we talk about what we do at Love One Life. It's that very message. It's don't tell yourself you're going to get fit one day. Start today. Don't tell yourself you're going to have a good life one day. Start having a good life today, because one day is no different to today. If you don't take action today, you won't take action tomorrow. So show yourself you can do it. And it really, really takes a different psychological angle to the way a lot of us have been raised, to just say, well, just push all this one day into the future, and it doesn't happen. So when you step up and do it, it's life-changing. I know when we've talked about intentionality before on this, and I talk about, I'm not mega fit, but I do exercise frequently. And if I don't get my gym bag and all my stuff ready the night before, my brain will fight me like hell in the morning to get out of bed and sort my gym gear out to go to the gym. So if my intentionality is I'm putting all the stuff out, so there's one less friction point in the morning. All I have to do is get out of bed and put it on and wander downstairs and off I go. And it's that unblocking the path out of complacency and out of living a life like that. I find really powerful.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to our word drift, right? Because we talk about drift as default results in forgotten time. And if you're not intentional, Fred, about setting your clothes out, like the default mode is to sleep in an extra 30 minutes, roll out of bed, drink the coffee, and start your day. But by being intentional, that default mode comes out and you now are breaking the trend and you're going to the gym. So I think it's beautiful how it circles back to what we are against, and that's drifting. But the counterpart is to be intentional.
Yeah, and it can even just be an intentional thought as well. It doesn't even have to be an intentional action. If I think the night before I'm going to go a walk in the morning, that's the first thing I'm going to do because I like it, I enjoy it, I need it. And then waking up to that, and you've already told your brain that's what you're doing, and it's just being intentional about that, isn't it? And it makes such a difference.
Absolutely. Yes. And so we've got a little list here of things that we could, a bit of a life audit. You probably complacency, but so Drea's ideas were things like, do you want to read them out?
All right, yes. If somebody's feeling stuck right now, what's one area of their life that, you can help them out with to be able to be a bit more intentional? So we've got a couple of things here. It could be health, could be relationships, career, money, confidence, or habits. Any of them jump out to you particularly, Marty?
All of those are good. In my book, we talk about the 7 F's. And this was kind of because this is how I started. They talk about the wheel of life, but how I started trying to set goals in my life. And it's faith, it's family, it's finances, it's future self, which is learning or growing, fun, friends, and fitness. So I try to make goals in my life around those things. And I think your list pretty much encompasses all of those.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, relationships is the friends piece as well, isn't
Yeah.
it? I think that's awesome. And how disciplined are you with those 7 F's then, Marty? Like, is it a daily thing for you where you sit up there and is like a checklist? Or is it, I'm going to try my best every month to do this? Like, how intentional are you, do you think?
If I had my phone, I would show you, but I have a habit tracker on my phone where I track habits. And these are all on there that I track. And like for family, the thing I track there is date night. And that's once a week. I don't try to do it every day. But I literally, yes, I track these things. Did I have fun? Like my fun is I track, did I laugh today? Because it's so easy for me to just go through the day and not enjoy it.
Is it the end of the day then? So you're more intentional about thinking about what you're going to be doing in that list because it's a habit of, the almost habit stacking. So you lean into it more, essentially,
Yes.
throughout each day.
Everything inspected is respected. So again, if I'm tracking it, I'm conscientious of it, and I say, "Well, I didn't read my Bible today," or "We haven't had a date night this week." Like, I don't want to get a negative on that. So I do it. There are times where, like I have my vitamins on there. There are times it's 9:00 at night. I pull out the habit tracker and I'm like, oh, I almost missed my vitamins. But because I was tracking it, now I do it. Like, because you're going to do it. But so yes, I do track it. And that's what I would tell people. Track it.
Is that an app then? Is that an app? Is it your app or is it an app is your app?
There's all kinds of apps, but I use one called Habit Tracker.
Amazing.
There you go. And so one of the things I was going to say is in that kind of life list and your 7Fs in terms of what people do, often we can easily think we're doing quite well because we might have one or two of those going in a pretty good shape. But not many of us, if we were to rate ourselves against all of them and say out of, I don't know, whatever the rating is, out of 10, out of 5, how high would you score yourself? We tend not to have it in balance very well. There's times when your life seems to be going well financially, but it's often draining the time out of what you're spending in what you enjoy or your family. And there's this sort of almost the push and pull of life. And it's helping people realize that just because you've got one department of your life nailed, it doesn't mean you've got life nailed or that you're really happy or that you are not being complacent in the other sections.
Yes. Well, and that's why we measure it, because we want to be whole in all of those, right? So I don't want to just be wealthy but not have a family. I want to be wealthy with a family. And I don't want to have a family and not have my health, not be able to move my body. Like I saw the cover earlier, but your book on the seven Qs, what was it called?
Seven Qs, 7 questions.
It's called Master Any Plan in 7 Questions. Yeah.
But your first one is their why, right? And that's where you start, is what is my why? Well, my why for fitness is I want to be able to move for my grandkids. So again, I can't be so focused on finances or my family right now that I'm not willing to go say, hey kids, I'm going to go for a walk right now and I'm going to go move my body. Like, that's important. And it's important because it's my future why. So that's why it's important to, in my opinion, be a will that the circle of life that is well-rounded and not flat on one side.
I really like the way you frame that there, Marty, and especially when you do go into someone's why, often if you get somebody to say, write down all the things that are most important to you in life, and then the second question in Mastering Any Plan is, what is it you're going to do about them? You tend to find a lot of people aren't doing anything towards their why. They're doing lots of other stuff that they feel they should, must, have to, whatever. And that then becomes the awakening to say, okay, so there's no connection between your why, the things you are important, the things that are important to you and what you're doing in life and how you're living it and all the other things that come with that. And that's often the awakening point to say you need to live them all in alignment, just like a business plan when I'm doing it there. It has to all be in aligned. Otherwise, the business plan won't be realized.
Yeah, I can say I want to be a great business owner and have all this money, but if I'm not going to do the steps, my business will fail.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I think that the best part of your F's was fun. I love that, Marty, because honestly, I feel like when you grow up, it just becomes almost unimportant, or ignored or whatever. But one of the best parts of any days of mine is if you have a belly laugh, or, you know, or that your face hurts because you've been smiling too much or whatever. Like that's, if I was to put down the best part of any day, it would be when I had the most fun in any situation. So, and I don't think that as adults, we really concentrate on that at all. At all.
When we think about our legacy, we want to be known as someone who had fun. So why not try to plan it in our day?
And as we go towards finishing the episode, I think going back to the screen time point and that last comment about what you want to be remembered for, it made me think of who on their deathbed will be proud of how many hours they spent on social media or their phone or on TV. No one's going to lie on their deathbed thinking that was a really good use of my life. Normally, it's often quite a good exercise to say, what is it that you regret on your deathbed? Start getting about doing it, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's as easy as just thinking about the legacy, maybe even writing your obituary. Marty Hofmann was known for whatever, jumping on the trampoline with the kids. Like, if I want to be known for that, then let's go do it.
Absolutely. I did that a couple of years ago, didn't I? It made me sit there and think about what are all the important things to me that I want to look back on. And one of them for me was, I want to release all the music. I've written so many songs and they're all in my head and I've released very few of them, or I've been too perfectionist with them over the years. And I don't want to go without having got them all out, regardless of what happens with them all.
Yeah.
You should just send them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know. I agree. And so it sounds like you've got quite a few goals, Marty, but if you had, is there a prime goal for you? Is there somewhere that you're heading and you're going, this is what I want to do and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing now?
I have lots of goals. My big goal for this year, it would be was to get my book out and then to sell a lot of copies. So that's a 2026 goal. And that's why I'm on this podcast today, is to try to promote the message and help people. But I do have other goals. I mean, one of my fitness goals is to get a 6-pack. I heard that 6-pack has an abs. I heard that you're more likely to become a millionaire after age 30 than get abs. So I was like, I'm going to figure that out. And I will tell you, it is hard. It is very hard.
Wow.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
You need to tell us about your book then, Marty, please. Where can people find it? And tell us a little bit about it.
So I have it on Amazon. They could also go to killcomplacency.com and they could find resources there. There's a fun test there your audience may enjoy. It's called I think it's called the Circle of Life, but it's just, how do you score on the 7 Fs? And it gives you a score, sends you an email, and it will tell you some tips on things to do better. But it's kind of fun I kind of enjoy like those personality tests. So it's kind of made after that.
Show us the book.
Show us the book,
Marty.
Don't be shy. Love it. Oh, it's nice.
And we just released it, and my goal with it is really just to, kind of like you guys, just inspire people to do more with their life and to not live with regrets and to live that full life that they are proud of.
That was a beautiful way to sum up the end of the episode. Thank you so much for that, Marty. Thank you so much for your time, for taking the time to sit here with us. And I'm sure that our listeners it's going to take so much away from it as well. I really appreciate your time.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I'll wrap up this wonderful episode. Thank you so much, Marty, for joining us. Do remember to share this with other people. If you like what you hear, make sure other people know about it too. Please do follow us. You've seen Marty here with his Kill Complacency book. Go and check it out and have a listen. And please tune in again next time. I'm Fred. This is Drea, and we'll see you again soon.